Good evening, good evening, good evening. We'll kick off in a couple of moments. Kind of looking to have a little fun with this one this evening. Gabe, how could you possibly make this a subject matter? Trust. There are at least two or three things to say for sure on this one. At least two or three. I hope you're having a good week. It's been rainy here. Not that you care, but it's been rainy here again. We're going to give it a minute or so before we kick off. And you can see the description there. I don't type long descriptions anymore on these things. One, because I already give a description kind of ahead of time. Two, because the cell I'm using, I just don't like the keyboard and my fingers are too big. So I keep having to fix it and go back through all of that drama. So I'd rather not. And so you get a real nice snippet of a description of what we're going to talk about. People ask me from time to time, Gabe, I was thinking about saying something, but I didn't want to take over the discussion. One, you can't take over the discussion because I'm the one talking. So you don't have to worry about that. And two, I know how to respond to comments as we go, as you can tell, to make sure we don't lose where we are. Any kind of questions that you would like to ask me, these are not personal topics per se to me, even though I'm a human being just like everyone else. So they have some impact on me, obviously, but it's not really strictly about me, or I wouldn't come on here if it's about me solely and specifically. And I've gotten enough comments, occasional compliments, but I've got enough comments from those who have been impacted by what we do here. So we keep. I told you, as long as it keeps benefiting at least one person, we'll keep doing these until I either run out of subjects or just nobody seems to get anything from it. So it's 9 Central Standard Time, my time, whatever time that falls for you. That's great. Glad to have those who are joining us join us. Let's get cracking here and get out of the way. The weather's, again, outside is frightful. Anyway, I'm not going to do the song. Let it snow, because it's not snowing, it's raining. But let's get into this, and we'll get out of here. Hopefully hear me well and all those kind of wonderful things. If you didn't, I'm sure you'd be like, Gabe, we can't hear you. So let's get cracking. So we've been dealing with this subject matter of emotion, the issue of emotion. And we've already pretty much established, for the most part, that individual emotions aren't really the issue. But I want to keep doing this till I address what I think is every disdain, every negative response out there. And if I miss one, somebody message me, DM me. Now that I know what it is, DM me and let me know, Gabe, what about when people say this, that, and the other? Let me know. Comment here, Gabe, are you going to talk about these kind of emotions and what people say about those things? We talked about quote unquote negative emotions last week. Hopefully you're able to see that. We are uploading these each week onto the YouTube channel, Victory in Christ Broadcasting channel that we have. And we've posted the link here. We can do it again if you need me to message you that link so you can go right to it. Feel free to send me a DM on Messenger, and we'll get that link to you as soon as we can. But tonight, this was kind of fun for me because I admit I've been on the end of the critic, and I'm not proud of that. I don't say that with any matter of joy, but I have been one to be critical of people who seem to be happy, happy, joy, joy, fabulous, 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 all is well, on and on and on and on. I have been a bit of a critic, and I'm not going to try to justify myself here, but I will explain myself in a moment. The idea, as we've been talking about the last few weeks, is not really having an emotion, because we know that's human. To feel is human. And if you happen to believe in God as I do, the one and true God, according to Scripture, as I do, I believe He gave us those emotions. And that His book, called the Holy Bible, does not dismiss those emotions. That's what I believe, right? So as far as emotions is concerned, I haven't had anyone disagree as of yet with me that emotions are natural to our being. In fact, I found nothing but agreement, which I'm open to disagreement. Maybe you have a view that I have not yet entertained. But at this point, we all generally believe that emotions are natural, but that the issue lies with our expression. But here's where I've been a critic of these happy, happy, joy, joy people. I've actually said this already over the last couple of weeks. I call these people cheerleaders. I have since teen years because I knew the cheerleaders pretty well, having played sports. And so I got to know the cheerleaders pretty well. And as a matter of fact, I got, I think, 2 or 3 of the cheerleaders on my Facebook page. But anyway, and that is always smiling, always happy despite what happens. I'll be honest, I have felt like that's just not natural. That's just me. Now, get mad at me if you will. I'm being transparent. I'm telling you that I have been a critic, a open critic of those who I call cheerleaders, who just, cheerleaders got to cheer even when they're being blown out. Their football team is down 42-0, and they have to come, go, 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 team, fight, 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 team. No, your team stinks. Your team needs to fold up the towel, throw in the towel, wave the white flag, take off the helmets, take off the shoes, throw away the jerseys and go home. That's really what your team needs to do. Now, obviously, I'm a little bit on the competitive side, a little bit, so that might be where some of this comes from. Again, I'm not trying to justify it. I'm just telling you what it is. But I have been, and sometimes still, find myself being critical of people who seem to find the silver lining in everything, who seem to always somehow can say and describe the situations that they are facing or others are facing or their collective people are facing as somehow a positive. I'll be honest, when I do get on Facebook occasionally and share some, need for prayer, I am bothered, and I'm not saying don't do what you do, but I'm a little bothered by those who, for some reason, Gabe, this is a lesson. No, some things that I've suffered, some pains that I've gone through, whether it was a decision, a bad decision on my part or whatever, did not turn into some valuable lesson. It didn't. It didn't. When I got COVID-19, I'm a mask-wearing person. I keep social distance as much as I possibly can. And like many I've talked to who have gotten COVID-19, they have not always been successful at being able to stay away from it. And yet I have people, Gabe, this is a lesson. This is a great, you will be, if it doesn't kill you, it'll make you stronger. I'm smiling, but on the inside, I'm frowning. Because I'll be honest, people like that are wonderful. We need them on the planet. God knows what we would do without them, but they get on my everlasting nerve. Okay? So I'm going to have a little fun at their expense and maybe kind of at my own expense, I guess, a little bit tonight. So my question is, and I know this like, Gabe, really? Yeah. Not that I am an eternal pessimist. That's not it. I have some pessimistic issues. I have pessimistic tendencies. You know what I'm saying? I'm a borderline pessimist. Though I seem to be generally upbeat most of the time, I have some shoe gonna drop, it's all gonna work out against me kind of things going on with me. I'm being transparent, as I normally try to be, with me. That's me. I'm not, trust me, I don't encourage that either. I don't recommend that. That's something that I have been prayerfully working on. I see that now in the last few years as a very real negative. I have encouraged and counseled dear ones to me away from that. So I am not choosing the option of being ultra negative just because I'm not super positive. So I'm definitely not about that. But my point is, my question is, and I've had this question obviously for a few years, is there too much of a good thing? Is there too much happy, happy, joy, joy? Is there such thing as too much of that? It's all going to work out in the end. Because see, I ask questions like, what do you mean by work out? I understand your desire to try to be positive or try to come off with a positive disposition or emotional expression. But I ask questions like, does everything work out positively? does everything work out fine? Therefore, I should be walking around like these. And you know, it's fake. My cheeks hurt because I'm faking it practically. You know, my father used to say things, and he probably still does. Does your cheeks hurt? As you can see, where I get my sense of humor. Anyway, so I you know, talk back to me tonight, because I don't know. Help me understand. Maybe you're one of those people, you're watching me now, or you're watching this back, and you're going, but Gabe, no, you really should be positive. I mean, here's something I get a lot in text messages and Facebook Messenger is, how are you doing? Oh, I'm doing okay. There's no need to complain. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. Let me tell you how I translate messages like that. You have a reason to complain, but you're choosing not to, which I'm cool with. I may not want to hear your complaint anyway, because I have reasons to complain. I have reasons to complain. I do. I ain't gonna get into them tonight, but I got plenty of them. I know you be like, Gabe, what are they? What are they? Tell me one. Tell me one. I ain't gonna tell you none. But so when I read, I have no reasons to complain. I've even said it just because it seems to be fashionable. You see where I'm going with this? I wonder to myself how much of the expression of, quote, positive, upbeat, uplifting emotional expressions. Oh man, I'm gonna get in trouble, but you know me, I can take it. I wonder how real it is. And it's on me. I'm gonna put it on me tonight. But I am I alone in this? Sometimes I really wonder, especially when I'm not in a good space, and somebody, you know, if I choose to share what I'm going through at any particular moment, and their response seems to be like they didn't hear me. Can you understand my frustration? Maybe it's just me. Sometimes I feel like when I say to somebody what I'm going through, I trust them enough to say, yeah, you know, I'm up against this. And they almost, to me, like they didn't hear a word I said. Oh, Gabe, it's going to be all right. You just have to pray. Well, first of all, I pray every day. Not just because I'm a pastor, but because that's what the Bible tells me to do. I rise every morning praying. Now, I know I call it talking to God. Most people call it prayer. I get up literally, even if I don't get all the way up, you know, right away. I'm talking to God every single solitary morning. I don't care what happened the night before. Literally, I talk to God every single solitary day. Every day. So it's not a matter of, well, you just got to pray. I understand why they're saying that. I guess I kind of do. And again, maybe it's me. Somebody help me out. But isn't there such thing as too much of a good thing? You know, be happy, be joyous, be excited. True, I get you, I feel you. Trust me, I do. I have my moments, I have my days. But there are times when it's like, man, I know your leg just fell off, bro. Yeah, my leg fell off, Gabe, but I have no reason to complain. How about the fact that your leg fell off? That's not a reason to complain? Or at least to acknowledge it. And I think that's for me, right? That's where I have a struggle with people like this. Hope springs eternal optimist, hyper optimistic. I have a struggle with people. I love them dearly, but I have a struggle with people. My pastor's like this. I mean, there's many people I know like this who just seem to, no matter what. I text my pastor, he's dealing with COVID-19. I say, hey man, how you doing? You know, how you holding up? Oh man, I'm getting stronger every day. Okay, that's probably true. And I don't know what I expected him to say. I'm glad he didn't say, he did not respond. I'm glad he responded. And I'm sure he is feeling stronger every day. But it's like, dude, I had COVID. I didn't feel like I was getting stronger every day. I just didn't. But I know that in part that's him. And I want you to notice what we do, right? When it comes to those kind of individuals, this is what we say. That's just them. I'm going to turn a corner. You ready? You know what? That's just them. So let me ask this question. Is it really just them? Is it just their personality? So their emotional expression is just the issue of personality? It's not a choice? They're not making a choice? They're not choosing to examine the situation they're in and choosing to be upbeat about it, which means for those who, not myself, but those who might tend towards the more negative, for the lack of a better word, expressions, are we to say, well, then that's just you? You don't have a choice in the matter. That's just you. You see where I'm going with this? So let's examine this for a second. Let's examine this. Is it really that person who's upbeat, that person who's just smiling? It is well with my soul. Yes, yes, my bank account is empty. Yes, I have no food in the cupboard. Yes, all is wonderful. Praise the Lord. Thank you, Jesus. Glory, hallelujah. You can yoga all day long. It ain't changing the situations. Now we've been talking about, or we've been alluding to the time, and we'll do this next week to end up our series about what should we anticipate being the responses that are proper to the emotional situations we're in. We won't deal with that tonight, but I just want to ask, is it just me? Maybe it's just me, and we can get off here and I'll be done. But sometimes I wonder to myself, even for the ones, not, last week, quote, negative, and we discovered that really they're not negative. It's just our choice. So is that what's true today? Is it also when it comes to those who tend to be more upbeat, are they making a choice, or is that just them? Okay, why is that an important question? Because many of us, notice in my write-up for this, my post, I talked about the critics, of which I've admitted to being a critic. I've admitted to being a critic to these kind of people. I got my brother on here, Nate Jones, Shreveport in the house, right? And my brother, man, he calling people champions. When he greets you, he's got a proverb on his lips. He's got some words of encouragement and uplift. Now I've only known him about a year, but that's what I've known of him. He seems to be an upbeat brother. But also what I know and what I've gotten to know about my brother is that he's not unrealistic. He does speak truth. He speaks truth about his own situation or other things that he may be facing. So that's where I'll be honest in my critique. That's my rub. But am I going too far? Somebody help me out. I don't have a problem with people being upbeat. I don't have a problem with people seeing things from a positive disposition. I really don't. But the thing that's always interesting to me is that there's some sense of, I'm gonna just say it the way I want to say it. You don't get mad at me. Almost like they're lying. If they say anything truthful about the situation that they're in, somehow that's going to come off like, if they tell the truth that actually, Gabe, my child is sick and things are struggling on my job, but I am happy that I have a job and that my child is not sicker than they could be. Okay, I could track with that. And, Gabe, it's not all about you. You're right. It's not all about me. But do you understand what I'm saying? Because let's be honest, I don't think I'm the only one. I know y'all ain't gonna talk to me because you don't want to look like a prude. I get it, but I don't mind. I'm willing to put myself out there. I struggle with people. Here's a word, right? You ready? Hypocrisy. Hypocrites. Oh my God. Did Gabe use the H word? Yeah, I did. I'll be honest with you. We don't call people who are mad hypocrites. We don't call people who express their anger or their frustration all the time hypocritical. We don't consider them to be false. But when it comes to people who are smiling, when it comes to people who seem to choose to rather respond with joy and a smile and happiness and to say something uplifting, some of us under our breath begins to say, I think they're being hypocrites. And maybe, now don't do this, but even test them and push them to try to find something. We may even do an interview of them and others around them to try to see if they're truly like this all the time. As if we discover that they have a moment when they're not feeling up, when they don't feel that good and feel like smiling, like we've won, like we've exposed them. You didn't think I was going there, did you? You didn't think I was going there. You didn't think I could do this, did you? See, the reality of it is, I'm not really here to talk about those who express and then choose to express, because I've already given it. It's a dead giveaway. Whether they are being hypocrites or not, I really want to talk about people like me who have been critical of them. I want to talk about people like me who, for some strange reason, just because I may be able to demonstrate that I have different emotional expressions, I'm sad sometimes. Well, I don't like the fact that some people can seem to smile no matter what. Why don't I like that? Why don't some of you, oh, you ain't gonna say nothing to me, but I'll talk for us. Let me talk for you then. If you don't want to talk, come on, be honest. You got that one child. If you got more than one child, you know you got that one child. I only got one child, but you got that. If you got 2 or 3 children, you always tend to have at least one. Mama, it's gonna be all right. Oh, baby, I know, baby. No, mama, I just need you to know that you wipe those tears, daddy. It's Dad, don't be upset. It's gonna work out. I'm not talking about Christian. I just mean even amongst your children, you'll have that one who just seems to be optimistic, who just seems to no matter what they're going through, no matter what you're going through, no matter how bad it is, somehow they are a wellspring of optimism. And I have even heard parents belittle that child, berate that child. Like, boy, get on away from me with all that. Here he come. I mean, that's a good thing, Gabe. That's a good thing that he's positive. She's positive, but I don't need that all the time. And you'll even think you're encouraging your child, and you'll pull the child aside and say, now, baby, I know that you just believe that everything in this life is going to be all right, but let me tell you, baby, let me educate you. Let me help you understand that there are things in this life that ain't going to work out in your favor. And you know what? Sometimes you're going to be sad. Okay. I don't really know. Is that good? Is that bad? Should we do that? Should we tell this child, or should we rejoice that we have a child that's in our midst as school teachers or whatever the case may be, that actually may be one of those rare children that will grow into the kind of adults like my pastor and those cheerleaders when I was going to school, and those kinds of that I've seen all my life, who just truly, they don't know how to be down. Now, I'll give you a little insight about Gabe for those who don't really know me. Don't tell anybody I'm telling you this, okay? But I actually have a tendency to be positive. I don't like to tell anybody because I don't want anybody saying anything to me about it. But the truth be told, I could be having a very serious conversation. I could be discussing with someone the heaviness of this life, and I just can't help myself. I am a crazed lunatic because I have to say something funny. I have to say something uplifting. I actually cannot be serious too long. As intense as my personality is, I actually can't be serious long periods of time. I can't. I have tried desperately, and I cannot do it. Now, I don't think I've ever told anybody that. Oh, yeah, I have. I've told a few people. But the truth of the matter is, if you get to know me, you will find that I am actually a closet optimist. I'm coming out of the closet. Gabe is coming. Go tell people Pastor Gabe came out the closet. Don't tell them with what. Just tell them Pastor Gabe came out the closet, and I'll get some more views. A whole lot more views, I'm sure. Share this video out and say Pastor Gabe comes out of the closet, and I promise you I'll get 1,000 views before the night's over. Just telling you. So the reality of it is, I am coming out the closet. I am willing to admit openly, I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm actually an optimist in truth. I do have an ability to express a range of emotion. But even in that, even when I'm by myself most of the time, and I'm thinking about what's going on in my life and the struggles right now, my back is hurting. My hernia is hurting, so it's like front and back. I am not well, to be honest with you. But again, I'm sitting here laughing and joking. I have not felt well all day, and I actually had to do quite a bit of work today. But here I am. Here I am, joking, laughing, talking, I admit that I am an optimist. I admit that I tend, no matter what my situation, to lean towards choosing to be upbeat. I tend to do that, which is in some sense why I'm critical of people who do it, because I'm trying to be like, keep it on the down low, man. Don't be showing all that off. Don't be letting people know, you know. So I struggle back and forth because I also have I told you, I have some pessimistic tendencies. I'm putting myself on the couch tonight. I'm putting myself on the couch. Get your pads out, take some notes. I'm putting myself on the couch. Doctor, it started back when I was 4 years old. No, I'm kidding. It was probably more like 6. But anyway, so the reality of it is there such thing as too much? I think for me, part of what I'm trying to do is pull some of that down, because I do come across people who, on the flip side, they're not very optimistic. And I don't want to be, and Gabe, are you serious? Yes, listen to me. I don't want to be classified as a hypocrite, even though I've been called that. Yeah, I have been straight up called a hypocrite. Somehow, some way, you know, well, that just because you serve God. I mean, I've heard some stuff in my lifetime. And I actually believe, let me talk to my Christian brothers and sisters for a second. I want to check us both. Let's check me and you. Come on, can we talk? Can we talk? Just come in close. Isn't it true that sometimes when we go into situations and our God has been good to us, that we sometimes feel bad? I don't know about you, but when I go into situations, particularly around people who might not be believers, and no matter how bad life feels or is, God has been good to me. I know he has been. It's not about what's in my bank account. It's not about how healthy I feel. I just know God has been good. And I just got through spending some time thanking him. So when I get around people and they're sour at the stores and things like that, they're complaining about their jobs and man, I'm tired of this and that. I just kind of just try to act like I don't hear it. I try to act like I don't hear it, and let me just get out of here. Truth be told, I'm really just exposing myself tonight, but truth be told, I feel bad. I really do. I'm not going to lie. Even when I'm giving counsel to somebody and they're sharing with me what they're going through, and I hear them, trust me. Hey, Gabe, you know, my husband is this, my wife is this, and man, my children are acting like this, my job, and I've been sick for 10 years, and I don't know, the doctors don't know, and I'm listening to them. I'm listening. It's not that I'm not listening, but in my head, I might have a song. I'm just telling the truth. I may be, you know, Jesus be a fence all around me every day. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it just comes to me. And I'll be honest with you. I got this from my father, who he seems so serious. For those who know him, he's serious seemingly all the time, right? But this dude will have you cracking up. Yeah, I called him dude. It's okay. My father is off the charts, but he can be really serious and be having you dying. I mean, just literally your side hurts. So I kind of got that from him. You know, my mom would be mad about something, you know, husband, wife stuff. And so he'll start just cracking up, or he'll start cracking jokes or something, being sarcastic. Oh yeah, no doubt, bro. No doubt, bro. I feel the same. And we'll be sitting there just dying. And my mother will be mad as all get out. But given enough time, he'll just keep going, you know, until she crack a smile. And I sat as a kid watching that year after year after year. I see Miss Sarita on here. She knows my parents very well. I watched this year after year after year. So I think that got born in me. See where I'm going with this? I think we can make a choice even when we're not feeling well in our bodies. I think we can make a choice. I think we can. And somebody tell me I'm wrong. Somebody help me out. Tell me that no, your experiences have taught you something different. I'm here to listen. I want you to talk to me. Talk to me tonight. I think I think we can. I think, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, my Facebook peoples, that even though we can have things that are driving us in a negative way, making us mad, upset, frustrated, all the stuff we talked about last week, that what we call negative, I think we can choose something else. And we'll again talk about this next week in more detail. But I think we can choose in particular those things that are expressively more upbeat. But let me circle back. In doing so, is there a such thing as going too far that way? Is there a point when we are literally lying? It's not an attempt to be upbeat. It's not an attempt to be encouraging, but we're potentially lying to ourselves. We're potentially, let's get serious for a second here. We're potentially not telling the truth. We are potentially being that actor or hypocrite. Is it possible that we're just with the desire to try to always look at grass as greener on the other side, glass half full, that we're actually doing that to our detriment and maybe even the detriment of others? Is there a such thing as too much of a good thing? Is there a such thing as going to the point where you're not now dealing with the truth? You're not facing the truth that the situation requires some seriousness. You're not dealing with the fact that maybe an expression of sadness is actually a good thing. That maybe being down because there are things that are encouraging you to be down is actually a good thing. It's a great thing. It's a up thing. It's a positive thing to, you didn't see that coming, did you? Maybe. Is it possible? And I'm asking, somebody help me. Somebody talk to me. Is it possible that for the sake of balance, and again, we're going to dig into this all next week. That's all the broadcast is going to be about. Trying to match the emotions we may be feeling and how we're interpreting those emotions with our expression. So for a case in point, let me show you how serious this is. So a man is on trial, and I used to watch detective shows and all that years ago. Loved that stuff. Crime stories and all that kind of stuff. And so when I would watch these true crimes and I would watch some of the court cases and somebody slaughtered or killed or stole something from someone, and they're sitting there, next to their lawyer. And, the lawyers have to try to coach them to some extent on how to respond. What is your expression? What should you do? Right? Maybe. And so this person is sitting there, and let's say something like they murdered somebody, right? And they did do it, right? And they're sitting there, and they are, and the DNA evidence and all the evidence and the eyewitness accounts prove that they did it. And so now it's time for sentencing, and the judge says, stand to your feet. And him or her says, we have to read your sentence. And you have been found guilty of capital murder, XYZ. And the person now, anybody like me, and I imagine like most of you, if they smiled even a little bit, we would say that's inappropriate. See how serious this is? If your child, let me come down to your house. If your child or your grandchild or one of your coworkers, they do something, or you suspect that they've done something nefarious. They took your sandwich out and I used to work in a school. Woo! I worked in several schools. But that whole, and an office, by the way, a couple of offices too. And somebody take your lunch that you was waiting, but you was rubbing your hands. I'm finna get down on this lunch. Get down on it. You got the feeling. Oh man, I'm finna tear this sandwich up. I'm finna get in here, man. I'm finna get down. And all of a sudden, you walk in there and your sandwich is gone. Here, let me make it worse. They leave the bag with your name on it, but the food is gone. Except the one healthy item that you really didn't want to eat anyway. They left that for you and took the good stuff. And now You got to be a professional. You've got to express an emotion behind your sandwich or that leftover pork chops or whatever it is that you was really looking to eat. But you in a public space. And if you cut somebody out behind your sandwich or your pork chops, your greens, get kind of hungry, you could get in trouble, especially since you don't know who did it. So now you have an internal emotional changes going on, but what do you express on the outside? In fact, I hate to say this because I know somebody gonna get mad, but for a moment, I think there's some justified hypocrisy. The word hypocrisy just means acting, showing one thing that is not true. In those situations, you might just actually have to play the hypocrite and put a smile on your face and go on to your desk. And it might be the person who works right next to you, who saw when you brought your bag in. As a matter of fact, you bragged to them about what you brought for lunch. That's how they knew what was in it in the first place. And you see some of the crumbs on the side of their mouth and on their, am I building my case? And you have to put a smile on your face. So how was lunch, Bob? Oh, it was delicious, Tom. Oh, wasn't it? Oh, it was. Oh, good. Yeah, I was hoping to have me a nice, delicious sandwich. Oh, you were? That's what I had. Really? Oh, yes. Delicious. Delicious. Oh, I'm sure it was. What kind of sandwich did you have? Oh, I forget. I forget. Oh, you forget, huh? Oh, okay. Oh, brother, you ain't helping me right now, brother. You ain't helping me. I know that's what it's saying. But you ain't helping me. Because I really want to change my facial expression from this to this. And I want to stare at them for at least 3 days. I want to stare at them. And I want to ask them, hey, so what you eating for lunch? You going to put it in the refrigerator? You going to put your name on it? What you eating? Yeah, here's my lunch right here on my desk. And I dare anybody take my lunch. That's what I want to do. That's probably what I did do. Sorry, I wasn't always doing what I was supposed to do. That's what I did do. But maybe there's a response that we're supposed to have. But my question is there a such thing as going too far? Is there a such thing as smiling? Now, I'm going to touch some things here for a second. Don't get mad at me, okay? I have had plenty of conversations over the years, nearly 30 years of doing this, with people who feel this way. Gabe, I'm tired of people running over me. I'm going to let it marinate. Gabe, I'm tired of people running over me. I could probably go to somebody's page right now, I won't say any names, and I will find something along the lines that says, don't take my smile, finish it. Right? Don't take my smile for weakness. You didn't think there was something to this subject? You didn't think so, did you? Let me speak to that for a second. Because to me, I think we inadvertently began to choose, and as a matter of fact, I'm going to be honest with you, this is one of the most serious subjects I've ever covered. Because we live in a day and a time where for maybe the last 20, 25 years, keeping it real. Anybody heard that phrase before? And with the advent of social media about 20 years ago, we have a lot of people. And if I'm stepping on any toes, all I need you to do is stick them way out there so I can get to them. If I'm stepping on your toes, stick your toes as far out so I can get to them easy. Because I'm going to step on some toes. We now live in a day and time. Not only do people not want to be hypocrites ever, but as a matter of fact, now we got people bragging on expressing things that are definitely not classified as positive. We have people bragging on it. We have people bragging on cutoff game. Instead of just blocking somebody who's inappropriate, they get on their page and give a whole announcement. See, what I'm actually seeing is kind of what we talked about last week. We have people who used to be the optimist, the wellspring, but they felt ran over. I got a friend right now, a dear friend right now, who's been telling me for at least a month, Gabe, I'm tired of people running over me. They may actually be watching this broadcast. And I've tried to convince them that's not the path to walk down. But is it possible on their behalf that there is a such thing as putting on airs too long? See where I'm going? Playing the hypocrite, playing the actor. Let me use that word because that might be a little less abrasive. That yes, I do believe, and this is just my opinion, talk back to me, that there may be some out there, a handful who might be watching me right now or watching this back later. I believe you may be so busy trying to appear to be that nothing is wrong that you are inviting those. I'm not saying it's your fault in terms of what they do to you, but you might be inviting that kind of attention. What is that other one? Somebody help me out. A sucker born every day? The person who seems to never frown begins to give the indication that they are a sucker born every day. Now, I've had conversations with my pastor and others, and trust me, I've noticed in those conversations exactly. There it is. There it is. Don't take my kindness for weakness. Just because I don't say something doesn't mean I did notice it. Exactly. Everybody understand where I'm going with this? Is there a point where we do have to stop for a second and even with a smile on our face, because I've already admitted that I am an optimist, whether I wanted to admit it or not, but there has to be a moment when while we're smiling, it doesn't mean that you don't express some sense of happiness because you are not ultimately a negative person, if you will, watch last week. But there is a point where you can be a person who is upbeat. You can be a person who is genuinely, you have a tendency to see the glass half full. You tend to see the grass is greener. You tend to see that there's always hope. I'm cool. I'm with you. I already admitted I'm like you. I look for opportunities for things to be better. I do. Even though I give an honest assessment of how bad things are, I do look for things to be better, whatever better looks like. But I've also learned, let me stress that word as I come to the end, I have learned that there are also times, because of what you see my brother said there, don't take my kindness for weakness. Just because I don't say something or don't say anything at all doesn't mean I didn't notice. Even our Savior, for those who are Christians, he had some things to say that would make most of us blush, if not almost be offended. He called people vipers and snakes. He said of that same group, you're of your father the devil. I want you to understand that you don't have to live your life under the impression that you always have to be forcing a smile on your face to give off the impression that your life is not crummy. You don't have to do that. You don't have to force emotional expression. You don't have to do that. You don't have to go overboard with trying to make sure it all looks good. You don't have to go overboard with trying to convince people that you are somehow superhuman. You don't have to go overboard with trying to convince people that that didn't hurt when they took your sandwich, that your stomach was growling because you were anticipating lunchtime and you were salivating and I'm going to get my sandwich and somebody took my sandwich, by the way, is stealing and I had my name on the bag. It's my sandwich and they stole it. You don't have to be happy with people stealing your sandwich or otherwise. You don't have to be happy if your children disobey you, but it doesn't mean you have to frown either. I think there is a healthy, and again, we'll get into this next week, but I think there are healthy expressions, not just healthy emotions, but there are healthy expressions. We want the man who committed capital murder, when he hears that he is sentenced to life in prison, to show some sign of remorse. Come on, don't lie. We do. We want them to. And I don't have any political leanings, but let's be honest. One of the things that was a struggle over the last 4 years is that that person who was in office, number 45, did not seem to show the proper levels of remorse over things that were difficult. How about Puerto Rico and the storm that blew through there? There didn't seem to be any sense of empathy or anything. And I don't have any political leanings, but there didn't seem to be any empathy as he threw the paper towels and he threw the water bottles out to the people and he bragged about how wonderful he is. There didn't seem to be any empathy. I'll stop right there because I don't want to get into anything else. We need to see even of ourselves. If you don't, guess what you're going to do? You're going to be texting, you're going to DM me and say, Gabe, I am the one you're talking about. I'm tired of people running over me because you have given them to some extent a license. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. Because you gave them the impression, I got a few more minutes, let me get in some more trouble, that you are naive. You gave them the impression that you didn't realize what happened to you. As my brother Nate said, you didn't notice that your sandwich was stolen. You didn't see it. You didn't see that it was gone from the bag and the bag was put back in the refrigerator. Ladies who are married, you didn't see that the milk carton was drank down to the last little speck of milk and then put back in the milk carton. You didn't see that your husband dropped his drawers on the floor again, or he didn't take out the trash again, or he didn't mow the lawn again. Now, sisters, I should get an amen. You did see it. You did see it. You did see that your children disrespected you. You did see that your neighbor keeps throwing his trash over in your yard. You did see that they keep parking in your parking space. I know it ain't about a parking space, Gabe, but if you've earned the right to park in the parking space, you pay for the parking space, then you want people to get out of your parking space. Is there anything wrong with that? Well, Gabe, life ain't about a parking space. Just let it all go. Let it go. Let it go. Come on. Really? Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Help me. I could be wrong. Hey, I'm here to help. I need help too. Maybe I'm wrong. Absolutely, Miss Jones. Absolutely. We got, Dr. Phil said many years ago on his, I don't even know he's still come on. I haven't watched it in a decade, but he said, look, man, you got to teach people how to treat you. And part of that is with your, oh my goodness, write this down in your mind, in your mental notes. Part of teaching people how to treat you is in your emotional expression. And if you smile so hard through every mistreatment, you start giving people who are abusers, mental, emotional, and physical abusers, who are manipulators, you start giving them reason to believe that it is okay to abuse you. The reason why black people got together and formulated a group called Black Lives Matter, even though I don't agree with every tenet, yet I agree with the premise that my life matters. And the reason why they got together and even people around the world joined the cause is because for too long we have smiled. There is a such thing as too much. Are you getting my point? I believe there is a such thing as too much of a good thing. Play on words. At some point or another, frown. At some point or another, be sad. At some point or another, be angry and express it. No, you ain't got to hurt nobody. You ain't got to beat nobody. A peaceful protest over your sandwich being eaten. I'm going to make me a sandwich tomorrow after all this talk about sandwiches. I'm going to have to get me a sandwich. Let me wrap this up. Gay, why? Because in our community, we have to teach people how to treat us. And for too long, the same people who are mad because they feel like people have been running over them, when are you going to own your part in that situation? Look, I love you. That's why I do these broadcasts every week. I love you. Take it from one of your brothers, your boy, your brother from another mother. I love you. Well, technically, my brother and sister are on here. But anyway, your brother from another mother. I love you. And I know you're hurting because you have been nice when people have misused you. Well, Gabe, good comes to those. I know many people who have died waiting to see that happen, and it didn't happen. I'm not saying get revenge. Let me be careful. I'm not suggesting get revenge. What I am saying is that it is okay to be genuinely yourself. Anger, but don't sin. You're feeling the emotion of anger. That is a natural. We've already covered this. You're feeling the emotion of anger. That's natural. But it's unnatural to act like there was nothing that happened to make you angry. That is hypocrisy. That is a lie. Stop doing that. It is nothing wrong with saying, you know what? Look. Hey, you know what? Somebody took my sandwich. I'm really disappointed, which is an emotion. I'm disappointed. I brought that for me. You don't have to steal. Just ask me if you're hungry. I'll be more than willing to get you a sandwich. But I'm going to let it go. But understand, if it happens again, we're going to have something done. Man, over a sandwich, probably the person who took it. Probably the person who took it. Oh, you gonna do all that over a sandwich? Man, I'll give you the money for a sandwich. Probably the person who took it. I'm just guessing. No, it's the principle. Uh-oh, there's the P word. You can't use that line, it's the principle, if everything you're going to do in your emotional expression suggests that it's okay for people to do that to you. Let me rewind that. You can't use the phrase, it's the principle of the thing, if you're going to express emotion that suggests that the principle doesn't matter. The one who is hurting the principle ain't the one who stole the sandwich. It's you. It's me. If you give people permission to mistreat you, to run over you, and you don't say anything ever, and you just keep coming back and keep doing it. My father said one time, he was up preaching, and I'm done. He said, now, yes, forgive how many times? 70 times 7, right? Forgive 70 times 7. He said, however, if somebody step on your foot a couple of times, would you please move your foot? And all I'm telling you is, it is okay to move your foot. It is okay to frown because your sandwich was stolen. It is okay to say, excuse me, son, daughter, grandchild, grandson, husband, wife. I do not appreciate what you just did right there. Now, with your children, you might be able to take that away. But with your spouse, with your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your fiance, your coworker, you may not actually have a recourse in the moment. The only recourse you may have may be just simply to express your dissatisfaction with the situation. But I think you ought to express your dissatisfaction with the situation. Show some maturity and therefore let people know I am not that guy. I'm not the one. If you want to run over somebody, I firmly suggest you find somebody else. Because I am not only not a bump, I'm a wall. You're going to run into me, not over me. And I can do it just like this. Oh, yes. I can do it just like this. I can smile and say everything I just said. I've done it. I can smile in your face and say exactly what needs to be said and never say anything trying to destroy you. Just speaking simple truth. I can do it. And I believe you can too. I believe we all can with some practice. Now, maybe you've never practiced that. Maybe you've never had anybody challenge you, but I challenge you right now before I get off here. I'm challenging each and every one of you. Indeed, if you, Gabe, I'm just positive. But here's my problem. You're saying you're positive in the face of denying truth. I'm trying to be done, but I got to get all this out here. You're saying, but Gabe, I'm positive, as to say, yeah, I know what the truth is, but I don't want my positivity to be harmed by the truth. I don't want my positivity. I don't want my positive aura. I don't want my space, my atmosphere. I don't want my atmosphere to be charged with negativity. Meditate later and get the situation addressed. Meditate later. Get your aura back together, whatever you call it, later, and get the situation addressed. Now let me speak to husbands and wives. Look. Part of your problem is y'all don't have real conversations. Or you have a lot of talking at each other. A lot of talking at each other. We covered that in our series last year about communication. But y'all not really just bringing the issues to the table. You know what, sweetheart? You know what? I understand you had a bad day. I really do. I don't really know why you're yelling at me though. Like, did I do something to cause you to yell at me? See how simple that is? Fellas, just sitting there going, okay, game on. Go team! No, dude! No! You think you were being positive. You think you were being affirming. No, you were being disrespectful. You were being disrespectful because you weren't listening. She's trying to tell you, man, my day, yeah, she didn't mean to yell. Well, I don't know. I can't speak for her. But she might have really had some real issues, and she was just still dealing with the frustration that she bottled up when she was at work or dealing with the kids or whatever. She bottled it up, and it just spilled out on you, and you sitting there, yeah, okay, yeah. Oh, you mad? Oh, you mad at me? No? Oh, okay. So what's for dinner? Really? Really, dude? Really? And I know women do it too, but fellas, we bad about it. We are terrible. We don't have no problem with just tuning out. Yeah, okay, yeah, so how long this conversation gonna be? Because you said it's not me, right? It's not me? So I can go? Like you a kid. Can I go now? I had to pick on the fellas one time. I'm sorry, man. Fellas had to pick on us. Because we tune out, man. We tune out. Then we had a nerve to get all mad, start slamming doors and all this when we get checked and we know we guilty. Kevin Hart, yeah, I listen to Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart said, man, you want to know how to win an argument? He said, what you do is just go off and then walk out real fast and slam the door. Walk out real fast. Don't stay in there. Just walk out real fast. Get mad. Yeah, that's right. And then slam the door and walk out. That's Kevin Hart. That's Kevin Hart advice. I don't know if you should take that. I'm just saying that's what he says. So look, I'm cool with you, even though I kind of critique y'all who are eternal optimists. I call y'all cheerleaders. And everybody need a cheerleader, man. Everybody need a cheerleader, you know? Everybody need that person in their corner that's cheering for them. Cool. I got few people in my life that I love dearly, and they are cheerleaders. You know what I'm saying? I love y'all. Brother Nate, I love you, man. Pastor D, I love you, man. I love y'all. Even though y'all get on my nerves sometimes with that everything is going to be all right. No, man, some things ain't going to be all right. Anyway, I'll leave y'all alone tonight. I'm going to leave y'all alone tonight. But the reality of it is, look, I'm done. All I'm saying is we also have to be careful that we don't try to put on a face because we are more worried about the reputation or the identification, especially Christians. This happens to us a lot. This happens to us a lot. We got sinners trying to tell us how to be. Really? 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 You gonna let somebody who is a sinner, you gonna let somebody who could care less about whether God exists or not try to tell you what your Bible says about how you're supposed to be? Really? That's what you're gonna do? Hey, that's on you. I will never let that happen. And when people try to do that to me, trust, I share. I share a couple of words of encouragement. I'm going to have to pray after this. Oh, Heavenly Father, please forgive me. Anyway, so I'm done. I hope this was a benefit. Share this out. I told you I'm going to have some fun with it tonight. Share this out. Next week, we're going to finish up unless somebody's got some more other things that you want me to talk about. But I really think that it's good to be positive. I'm not being negative about being positive. All I'm saying is be cautious. And especially for those who feel like people are running over you. You have to ask yourself, am I actually part of the reason why they feel like they can do that. Am I possibly, because I'm more concerned about coming off in a way, and by the way, that's not Christianity. Stop saying that. You and I definitely need to talk. If you think always being positive is Christianity, that's not Christianity. I don't know where you got that from, because the Christ of Christianity was not always positive. He was not always upbeat. He cried, he felt shame, he was hurt, he was broken, he was angry, he beat him out of the temple. He wasn't like, you guys get out of my father's temple, get out of here, making my father's house of prayer a den of thieves. No, he whooped they natural behind and told them to get up out of here. He was angry, he was disappointed, he was frustrated. So if my Lord and Savior can express those emotions, can't I? Can't you? And if you're not a Christian, what's wrong with you? Let's talk later. All right, I told you I'll be done. This is my 17th close. I'm done now. Have a great rest of the night. We'll be back next week, 9 Central Standard Time. Until then, be good, my friends, and let's talk later on.